Some days, guys, it's just good to be here. What is up, people? How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to more CSGO and esports news here at Esports Talk. Last night, we broke 53,000 subscribers. Yo, thank you guys very much for all of you guys who keep clicking the subscribe button and keep on coming back to my content. I have no idea why you're here, but, I'm glad you guys are here. Now, speaking of here, breaking CSGO news, as of this morning, guys, FM Pwn and the new cache rework, it's now officially done. I will link it down below for all of you guys. All of his work slowly coming to fruition. What we expect to be Mirage out and Cash should be in the competitive map pool sometime here soon. We've seen a lot of pro players talk about this. Some small changes on this map. Aesthetically pleasing, a huge change, I would say, in the background wise and aesthetic wise. It looks amazing in my opinion, but those small changes can change a lot in competitive play, especially when you bring back an old map back into the pool itself. I cannot wait for this. We have not been this hyped about a map rework, I would say, almost ever in CSGO at least. And so FM Pwn, congratulations. His map should be live sometime soon in the brand new competitive map pool, and hopefully Mirage or another map will be out of there, which supposedly will not be Vertigo, which I'm upset about. You guys might not be, but other news out there, I would say, in some rumors brought to us by AbleJ, he has been right time and time again about these CIS rumors, so I do trust him here, and it's pretty shocking. Virtus Pro, at some point in time, we don't know exactly when, they wanted the DreamEaters roster, which really, it makes you think, because this DreamEaters roster has gone through a lot over the past week alone. That roster has now supposedly left the organization. They're still negotiating as to what the players are going to get, what the owner's going to get. Apparently, the owner is not very happy about the money he has now lost with this lineup, which we'll see what comes of that, guys. This organization, this roster is now out of the organization, but at some point in time, we don't know exactly when, Virtus Pro wanted to change from an all-Polish lineup, a legacy of Polish players, to a CIS team. Can you imagine if that would have happened? It's a weird one. Luckily, it didn't happen, because if it did, I think we'd be having the debate. I think right now we have a growing Virtus Pro roster, if not the best. They are certainly one of the top Polish teams out there ever since winning V4 Festival. I imagine they would wanted to switch their roster to the DreamEaters roster before V4 Festival, but that timeline could be messed up. I think the roster is improving, but the fact is this, if they even considered that, imagine if they actually made that change. I think there would have been a lot of backlash, because that's still not a top tier roster. DreamEaters does not have a major spot. They are a major contending team now, because in the CIS region, they are probably one of your favorites for next major. So that would have been insane to see. But at one point in time, apparently, Virtus Pro actually wanted to change to a CIS roster and acquire DreamEaters. That team can now no longer be acquired because they're no longer with the organization. Things happen fast in the CSGO scene. And as I'm drinking all of this coffee, it's all hitting me. And it's tough to also, in big news out there, all of you cheaters, all of you abusers, all you bug people out there, you should be happy. No longer should you be using your bugs and abuses or exploits. You actually should be reporting them directly to Valve via HackerOne. If you guys do not know the website, we've actually talked about it here on the channel, I think several months ago as well. Now, one of my own friends, one of the own guys who's actually shown me a few of these bugs, a few of these exploits, helped bring them to Valve Eyes, and has done so yet again. Yeah, he actually has now been paid nearly $10,000 to report that same exploit on HackerOne. Yes, it's pretty crazy. I've actually talked to this guy about several bugs in the past. I do consider him to be a friend as well. I've talked to him back and forth on Twitter, and now, yeah, just a couple days ago, he's been paid $9,750 via Valve for reporting an exploit. By the way, the website only takes big bugs, big exploits, so not all that tiny stuff out there. But either way, this guy has also been paid by Valve in the past, and has also been paid by other websites for fixing bugs. So, hey, it's pretty incredible to see the youth out there finding great ways to make money on a variety of websites out there. Congratulations to you. And also, it's a big news out there. This OG roster might not be happening. Some warnings out there brought to us by Decay. Now, apparently, when it comes to negotiations for both ENCE and Aleksib alongside NBK from Vitality, it's actually OG not offering the full buyout amounts, actually less than half of their buyout amounts currently for those two players. Now, we'll see how negotiations do go down. Apparently, OG has denied these rumors, has denied this news as of happening. According to Decay, though, it's actually them offering less than half the buyouts for both those players, players, and if they actually have to pay more buyout, they're actually telling the players they'll be paying them less for salary. Now, before you go off and say, oh my gosh, what an atrocious organization OG is, first of all, you got to imagine what these salaries are going to be, what these buyouts currently are. It's a lot of money going into the CSGO scene. We have to imagine there's some sort of fixed fee, some sort of fixed limit as to what OG wants to spend to acquire a CSGO roster, so it does make sense. If they have to pay more to acquire you, they're probably only going to be willing to pay you, less than what they were going to pay you if they had to buy you out for less. Does that make... I feel like I should never be a math teacher, but obviously the more they have to pay for you, the less they can probably pay you via salary, vice versa as well for that, and apparently negotiations will be underway still for these players. There's no update on the remaining 3 players of that roster and whether or not the buyouts are going to be an issue for those guys, which I imagine they should be, not near as much for, Aleksib and NBK, but either way, this roster is still under a bit of negotiation. It's not finalized as of right now either. We will see when OG actually pulls the trigger, and if they do pay the full buyout for those guys, or if their future salaries are hurt for this roster, which I'm still very, very hyped up on. I know you guys had a bit of conflicting interest in this team. I'm still very hyped up on paper, at least. We'll see if the roster even comes together before we start to judge it. Also, for any of you North American fans out there, I went digging through Twitch clips because someone commented about this. For any Hiko fans out there, I found it on his own stream. He did say he's in talks with teams. Now, don't be too hyped up on what team it might be because we have not seen Hiko in a long time, I would say, at the top level. I still love the guy, though. One of my, I would say I was a big fan of his back in the day. One of my first CSGO pro players I really cheered for. He has now said he's been talking to teams and he might be back sometime soon. Here's the clip.
Do you miss playing competitively? Yeah, I do. Hiko, hadn't thought about that? What do you mean? Are you still a pro? I'm hoping to get on a team pretty soon. I have some calls this week. I had some talks this past weekend, so things might be looking up.
And very lastly in CSGO news, 2 roster changes. I'll be back here tomorrow, guys, to break down any remaining CSGO news. My dad's actually here this weekend, so I'll be back here Monday after tomorrow. I mean, as per usual. So there won't be too many episodes out this weekend, but come back Monday, we'll wrap it up for all of you guys what's actually happened. As of right now, AbleJ is now back on Furia in-game. That's their academy roster. Pretty much as expected, right? No Brazilian teams out there could probably afford his buyout, even though reported by, I believe it was Ryan at Rush B, that apparently his buyout is actually cut in half when he's on the bench. We still kind of speculated here that his buyout was probably still going to be way too much for any other Brazilian teams out there, probably lower Brazilian teams that wanted AbleJ. We were correct about that. AbleJ is now back on that academy roster, and Furia, their main roster, they continue to struggle. Actually, during ESL Pro League, we've seen a few upsets here and there. Furia, I believe last night, lost to Envy. That's no diss on Envy. They've definitely been having their struggles, though, and when it comes time for rankings, Furia should be ahead of Envy, and they have now fallen to them. So we'll see how Furia's future does continue. Certainly, it's been a weird one over the past couple of months. Very lastly, guys, Lucky has now also joined Kiyoshima on that Heretics roster. I continue to be very excited. I continue to actually preach this. All of you G2 fans can continue to be pissed off at me, okay? This Heretics roster, with the addition of Kiyoshima and now Lucky, if they get Devo Duvek, this is a rivalry team for G2. Calling it here first. I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm an idiot, but either way, I think this roster is looking more improved than it was before. It was already a pretty steady roster out there. We will see how Heretics continue to improve their French-Belgian mix. Until next time, guys, enjoy your coffee. I'll be back here all day long breaking down this Blizzard drama because apparently in the game of developers out there, Valve is actually pretty nice compared to the likes of others out there. All right, I'll see you back here sometime soon. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.